Hi, and welcome to Team 2's Family Case Study presentation. Before we get started into our presentation, we would like to introduce our team. There is David, Anjali, Karen, Charanjit, and Farah. Kali is a 39-year-old single parent from Swaziland, Africa. She is a Christian, divorced, and works as a full-time bank teller. Kali, together with her husband and their children, migrated to Toronto, Canada in January 2009. Kali and Joe had two children. Reese is a 50-year-old teenager diagnosed with schizophrenia. Ethan, on the other hand, is a healthy 11-year-old boy. When Joe left his family in 2011, Kali's sister, Asha, moved to Canada to help her out with raising her children. She lives in the same apartment building and works as a chef. When Joe left his family, he works in the mines in the far north territory in Canada. Although he does pay for the child support, he couldn't support his children physically and emotionally. The challenge in their family started when Reese started to act differently. He became more withdrawn and more emotional. It all escalated when one night Kali got confused and stressed out when Reese started hearing voices and yelling at himself. Reese was experiencing a psychotic episode and was admitted to the local mental institute. After his 3 weeks of admission and diagnosed with schizophrenia, he began taking some medications and his hallucinations subsided. After her son's diagnosis, Kali started of having difficulty coping with the continuity symptoms of schizophrenia. She experienced fear, loss, and being helpless. She is having a hard time to balance her responsibilities, and she also recognizes her unfair treatment to her children. Now, Kali is concerned about how to afford the cost of treatment and if she may be able to go to work regularly. While Ethan, at a young age, he does not fully understand the situation that results in dealing with the combination of emotions such as confusion, embarrassment, and jealousy. Lastly, Kali is concerned about how their family would cope up with this situation.
Created using Powtoon.
Good morning, Carly. My name is David. I met you at the hospital briefly. Thank you for welcoming me into your home. It is good to see that Reese has been discharged and is back in the community. How do you feel so far?
To be honest, I am very anxious and overwhelmed about everything. Shouldn't you speaking with Reese?
I understand that you must have some anxiety and overwhelming feelings. I will speak to Reese as well, but first I wanted to speak to you just to get a grasp of the situation. My role is the family health nurse. I want to work with you and your family to build a lifestyle that you can all enjoy and thrive in. My goal right now is to assess the family situation, figure out how I can help best, and begin the ball rolling in the community support that you need. After being referred to by the discharge planner, I have somewhat of an understanding of what your family situation is, but I want to work with you and your family to make sure you identify the situation and we are all on the same page. How does this sound so far? Have you got any questions for me?
I have never worked with a community nurse, but it sounds like you can help me. What exactly can you do for my family?
Well, I want to be your advocate, help you access any services you need, work with other health care professionals to make sure Reese, Ethan, and you have the tools to live happily in your community.
Right. That sounds good. Thank you.
Great. I'm going to start with a few questions. The first question is centered around the roles of your family. How do you see the roles of the various members of the family?
Well, I am the decision maker. I plan everything and provide for my kids. I am lucky to have my sister living in the same building. The kids call her Aunt Asha, but she is really like a second mom. She is amazing. I work full time and her schedule is a little more flexible. So she comes in during the mornings and helps me get them ready for school. I feel guilty though, as she is my younger sister and she came to this country to start her career as a chef and for more opportunity. But she takes on nights and weekend work so that she can help me through the week. Then there is Joe. He is the children's father. He is around every now and then, but he works in Northern Ontario in the mines and doesn't live with us when he is in Toronto. I am glad we are separated, but it would be nice if he was around a little more.
With Reese's condition changing, have you spoken to Joe about it? How do you see his role in the future?
I have spoken with him. He spoke to his mom in Africa. She is sending him messages stating that Reese is not sick. That is the soft Canadian lifestyle. Joe was in camp when he had a major episode, so he is in denial. I hope he realizes that this is real and he can support me in treatments and help me with some of the challenges. I don't want to be with him, but he loves his children and he's a good dad when he is around.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Carly. It does seem that he is reluctant to believe his son has a mental illness. Perhaps we can include him in the family conferences we have in the future. If he is at camp working, we can Skype him in. Does that sound okay to you?
Okay, yes, that sounds good.
Oh, okay. My next question is about the situation as it stands right now. What do you see as the most pressing concern for the family right now?
Mm, Asha and I have been focusing a lot of attention on Reese. I'm spending money on medications and taking him to appointments. I feel that we have kind of neglected Ethan a little bit. He is such a good kid.
Right. Do you think you're equipped to handle this right now?
Yeah, well, I don't know. We're trying our best. I hope once we can build a routine, we will be able to spend more time to meet Ethan's needs.
Yeah, that is important. But perhaps I can help develop a schedule with you. My next question is about community and your culture. What supports outside of the inner family circle are available to you right now?
Asha is my biggest support. She is at the top of my list. Then there is the boys' school. Both are in school, and I had to explain to the school about the few days off they have both had. They have been very supportive. Both their schools have offered the services of the school counselor, and the classroom teachers have been great. We also have a family doctor, which we were lucky to get into. Our GP is helping out with scripts and referrals as well. That leads to the psychologist that Reese has been starting to see. We may be going in as a family to have some sessions. There is also the psychiatrist that was referred to us by the hospital. It is also very complicated but great to have so many services. Then, of course, our church. We go every Sunday and our community is great. I have spoken to our minister and he has offered his ear anytime I need. He also offered to help out with Ethan and perhaps sending him to camp. Ethan is interested and we are working on that. Then there are my parents. They are great, but they are in our home country. They are trying to save money to come out, but it is hard.
What about your work? How have they been?
Well, I have benefits with them which have been amazing. It covers 80% of medications. They have been very flexible in me using my sick days and leave days. They have offered me time off, but I have nearly used up all my sick days and some of my leave. They say I can take unpaid leave, but I can't really afford that.
Would you be interested in building some new resources? There are some support groups available online and also some close by that I can connect you with.
think that might be good. I need to understand more about the condition. I want to be educated. The support may be helpful as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, the support groups can definitely help with educating and also support you and hear from other stories. I want to develop a plan that best fits you and your family and the current situation. You have touched on some support resources that are in place right now, or they may be in the future. So I've come up with a diagram called an ecogram. There are a few lines here. Arrows direct which way the energy and support is coming. As you can see, I put you, Aisha, Reese, and Ethan in the middle. You are the center of the care um, that I want to address. So you're in the middle. Reese has a square, as he has been diagnosed with schizophrenia. As you can see, this visual shows us all the different links and connections you have, or possibly could have. If you see two lines, that means the relationship is strong. If you see a line with a line crossing into them, that means that the relationship is staying somewhat. Does that help at all?
Well, that is complex. I like it though. Maybe it can help me visualize the support system I have in my life, as well as possible parts to improve on. Thanks.
You're welcome. It is part of my job and is a useful tool for both of us. Okay, I have another question. You have kind of touched on this, but I just wanted to touch on it some more. What is your final financial situation like?
We have worked hard to get settled in Canada. I have a good job now as a bank teller, and I make decent money. Joe supports us with monthly contributions as well. We are not rich by any means, but we were doing okay before all this time off in things.
Okay, yeah. Health, an illness can really affect a family's financial impact. I'll speak to a social worker and perhaps he or she can help you out on any resources available for your family. Now, this is my final question for now. You have given me some great insights and I appreciate what you have shared. Now, I explain my role, but I want to see how I can be most helpful to you and your family right now.
Well, I am not 100% sure just now, but I think just being supportive and listening is a great help. I also think that we all need more education on what is schizophrenia is. Even Ethan. I want to know what is happening with Reese, how I can help. Helping our network and access resources is going to be very helpful. I think that is all for now.
Thanks, Carly. I really hope I can help you and your family. I have some goals to work on, and I hope that we can work together in providing the best quality of life for you and your family. Um, it has been a great initial assessment on with you. I really appreciate your honesty and willingness to help shape your needs. Thanks so much for your time.
No, thank you.
That was an example of an interview between the family health nurse and Carly, the single mother in our scenario. Now we will explain the techniques and tools that went into the interview and what has developed as goals and issues for the family moving forward.
Hi, I'm Charanjit Rai, and I would like to talk about therapeutic questions which we try to portray in our case scenario. My first question will be: what are the roles of the various members of the family? In particular, what role do you see Joe having? This will help outline the commendations of the family and what resources they have available to them. While Kali is a single parent, the father is involved with the family and may be able to help out. What do you see as the most pressing concerns for the family right now? Do you think you are occupied to face them as a family? This identifies the most processing concern of the family at the time of the interview. It helps the nurse assess the situation as it stands. The next question will be: what sports outside of the inner family circle are available to right now? Can I help you develop some new resources? This will help understand the family's community sports and resources available to the community. It will also help outline the family's culture. And the next question will be, we want to develop a plan that fits your family and the current situation. What is your financial situation and what do your work benefits cover in the way of medication and treatment? And psychosocial considerations will be family education and about schizophrenia. Because mother needs more information about schizophrenia, mom wants to feel her son's situation and want to help him in all ways. Family should get enough support for transportation and financial. Family should attend seminars related to Reese's diagnosis. Family can face difficulties related to babysitting and care of the younger siblings. Even though Kali has her sister's support, but still she needs babysitting because Kali is working full time and she wants to go to her work after leave. Family needs emotional support. Mom needs emotional support because she's a single mom and she has more responsibilities and she is the head of her family. And that was my part. Thank you.
Commendation of family and individual strengths. These commendations are one intervention nurses can use to empower Kali's family in order to enhance the forming and maintenance of a collaborative relationship. Families who receive commendations from health professionals tend to take more readily up ideas, opinions, and advice that are offered. Our group came up with these 5 commendations for Kali's family. First, Kali's strong sense of responsibility and her willingness to educate herself to support and help her family, especially Reese. The support from Kali's sister, Asha, plays an important role and has contributed greatly on how Kali will manage her time on taking care of her children. Helping and encouraging Reese to continue his treatment makes a difference in the course of his illness. Next, Kali's awareness to seek help from the support groups, her ability to recognize the problem, and the requirement for intervention from someone else that has more expertise and knowledge regarding Reese's condition. Lastly, despite the distance and Joe's situation, he manages to financially support and reach out to his children whenever he had a chance.
Hi everyone, my name is Karen and I'm going to discuss our family care plan. This includes our nursing diagnosis, nursing interventions, and rationale. First one would be strained parent-sibling relationship related to stress. Interventions would be assisting the family in networking system around their community, referring family and client to get access to community resources that are available in their community and support networks. Rationale would be learning to identify a problem and to evaluate the alternatives to resolve that problem and helps the patient to cope. Next one would be dysfunctional family process. Interventions would be assisting patient and family to identify problem or situation that are causing the distress and recognize awareness of patient and family's anxiety. Rationale would be it is usually helpful to find productive ways on how to vent your anger. This can be done in a support group or talk therapy or talking to your friends or to your loved ones that will decrease your distress. And next one would be anxiety related to environmental health status, allowing verbalization of feelings and listen to family's concern. Teaching client and family stress management techniques are interventions that are good when it comes to their anxiety. And rationale would be since cause of anxiety cannot always be identified, the patient may feel as though the feelings being experienced are counterfeit. Acknowledgement of patient's feelings validate the feeling and communicates acceptance. Next one is risk of caregiver burden. Interventions would be being supportive and approachable to promote good communication to the family, communicate with simple language and brief statement, and rationale for this would be feeling of burden have been found to lower caregiver burnout with caregivers who have support. This is very important because mm, by being supportive to patient and communicating them with simple language and brief statement, it will decrease their feeling of being burned out when looking after their loved one who is ill. So having someone with them to support them is very important. And the last one would be altered role performance related to work overload. Interventions for this would be assisting patient and the family to list and prioritize all possible alternatives to their problem. So in terms of their workload or their problem, they should we should assist the patient and the family all the possible alternatives to solve their problem and prioritize which is the most important to the least important. And rationale would be teaching family on how to maintain health strategies is important to sustain their physical and mental health needs.
Giving attention to Ethan. Since most of the attention is going to Reese, Ethan may be feeling lonely and secured and feel like nobody cares about him. The nurse can intervene by asking him whether he is feeling okay and if he needs anything. Ethan needs to get some attention so he does not start hating Reese and envying him. Establish trust. Establish trust with the patient is very important so they do not feel uncomfortable or insecure around you. For example, asking the patient before touching them. Use a clear and kind language with the patient. Family involvement. Encourage the family to learn and how what is going on and what treatments they are taught. For example, explain to Colin what Reese is going through. Also, warn the family if the patient will have side effect of the treatment. Social skills. Since Reese is suffering from mental illness, his social skill may not be as strong as others. The nurse will help him learn and get familiar with some of the social skills so he does not feel left out when he goes back to school. Nutrition. Making sure Reese is getting as much nutrition needed. If he insists on monitoring his own food, let him do what he wants to eat as long as he is getting food.
Ultimately, as the community nurse, we want to assist the family to get the access to the resources that they need and the support. We want to ensure Reese's health condition is stable and he is able to thrive in the community. We want to offer counselling to the family as they need it. We strive to be culturally sensitive and be aware of their situation, and we aim to communicate openly and effectively and advocate for the family. We need to make sure the family identifies what support is needed and help them gain the best quality of life possible. By being professional in the way we portray ourselves, we're able to center the family in the care. We respect the culture and beliefs and religion that the family feels strongly about, and we offer the services that are needed. We will want to build rapport and encourage open communication, and we must be an active listener in order to get the most out of the situation. We hope you enjoyed our presentation and we look forward to your feedback. Thank you.